I'm pleased to introduce Kevin Bassett. He's an arborist from Dallas. He's a member of the Dallas Club. And I think you're going to talk to us about bowls today, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about bowls.
Okay. So, Kevin, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. Always a good pleasure to come here. Enjoy it. Difference between Hunt County and here is in Hunt County, they call me Steve now. Don't know why, but somebody went out on their stuff. So you guys got it right with Kevin instead of, I don't know who Steve Bassett is. I'm sure he doesn't turn and probably never seen a tree in his life. But I wanted to kind of give you an idea. We had, y'all probably support empty bowls as well. And, it's a big thing for us to do. And so I was trying to think of a way to make it a little more fun. If there's not enough of those, I apologize. There's 20. I think there's 25 of y'all. So some of you might have to share. Okay. So the idea here is I came up with an idea for the Bowl Makers Challenge. Okay. So this would be a little deal. And I envision that 2-man teams. You got a certain amount of time. 2 lays, 2 guys, 2 lays, 2 other guys. A group versus B group. Or girls. Yeah. Ladies. Okay. Yeah. Certainly. Is that a them, they thing? He, she. Okay. Them, they. It's all the same to me. Turners. I see no sex. I see turners. So, but anyway, so I was kind of coming up, you could just do it strictly on time and whoever made the most bowls wins. But I thought, well, wait a minute, that kind of takes away from the craft of making bowls. And so I kind of came up with some criteria as to what makes a good bowl. And the other thing I wanted to talk about today a little bit was safety. And so a lot of us have a lot of bad habits we need to break, and I'm probably top of the list. My favorite thing to do is to leave stuff sitting here. Okay. How many of y'all ever had one of these come off, fall over, hit the ground, flip over, and stick you in the leg? Yeah, I got one. I didn't think I was the only one to ever do that. So don't be leaving this sitting up here while you're doing other things. You need to maybe have a separate little cart here or something. I meant to bring a TV tray with a little thing that holds the tools, and I forgot it too. So anyway, I guess that's holiday fever. The other safety thing is moving the tool rest with the machine running. Okay, so that would be a pretty good violation there. So this, as we're going along through this, if I make a safety error like that, you yell it out. That's a point, or that's 2 points. If I throw this off and hit John with it, that's only 10 points. You're a 10-point target, John. So, but I get bonus points if I get you both. Yeah, ricochet, bank shot. But I've tried to take the time to really put this in here. So the other thing that would be very dangerous, John was just telling me about an accident. The guy, horrible accident with his jaw and stuff, from turning on the lathe with the speed control on full blast. So always start with it there. So, if I kind of shut this lathe off now and I come back to it, I probably should go back to that lower setting and ramp back up. Okay. So, you could call a foul on that if you want to. Actually, many of us that turn to, once it's balanced, we just keep going, right? Stop, check, and see where you're at. But so I wanted to point out some of the things safety wise with bowl turning. And the other thing, and it really works well. And I probably, I guess if this was lathe at my house, and I guess I could do it now, I'd probably slide everything down here. That way, when I'm doing the hogging out the inside of the bowl, I can work off the end here. That's much more efficient than trying to lever that thing out. So I may just do that. I kind of like that position on a lathe for doing bowls. So let's just slide him out a little bit. Yeah. Wow. So the advantage of these moving headstock lathes is the headstock will move so you can do stuff like this. Anybody know what the disadvantage is? You can move the headstock. It hit my foot. That's set up on you guys, you know, leaving your weaponry around here. There we go. For what? Oh, I'm starting to jerk the speaker over with me, huh? There. Let's try it. Let's try it like that. Maybe a little bit more. Now I get Neil and the equipment back there. They got stuff to hide behind. You don't. So be sure we give that a good pull up again. I'm sorry. Somebody have a comment or question there? Well, no, it's just ergonomically better. I mean, I'm out here when I go to hauling this thing out, I'm standing on the end and I can use my whole body and dance with this thing over here and cranking it with my arm like that. You know, your body position's everything in this game. So get yourself in a good position to work at it. That's going to be easier on you all the way around. That goes, if you're this tall, you might want to raise the lathe up. If you're like that, you might want to have it squat down a little more, I like the tool rested basically at elbow height. For most everything, maybe except for deep hollowing or something, where I like it a little higher, but I don't ever change it. So I just go with what I got. So consequently, when I do a lot of hollowing, my back hurts for a while. Okay, so we're gonna get this guy back. So I keep checking all this because I don't even want to hit the speaker by John, not get into him. So just on the face of it, so that you score points with size, and from the same log, what I'm gonna try and do is a natural edge bowl and then just do a regular bowl. And this one I'm going to be hard pressed to get the 5-inch that they want for empty bowls minimum, 5 inches. This one, because I get to use the whole length of the log, I'm going to get 6 or 7. They in there? Oh, right, good. I feel better now. So there's certain advantages, and yeah, maybe you can do. If you got 45 minutes and 2 guys going, maybe you can do more little 5-inch bowls that are nice over doing, natural edge or something. If I throw the bark off, I would count that as a form break. Okay, you still get the points for size, but okay, so I got some examples of. I think there's one bowl in here that's mine. And so we'll kind of send these around. Anybody know Sharon Ayers? Does that look familiar? Beautiful bowl, beautiful form. A lot of decorative content on this. So, this would, to me, this scores a huge amount of points. And just beginning to start to stretch to blur the line between a bowl and a platter. It's got a long, wide rim here. You want to send that one around. Anybody remember Bonnie McDonald? Oh, Bonnie. So this is one that she decorated with the carragena and dipping the stuff in there and putting that neat arty stuff on there. Same thing. It's a little bowl. She's got quite an undercut rim. A nice form on the bottom. Nice OG there. Real pretty. A nice rim with lots of color. A beautiful small bowl. So you could go candy dish, so it sits up a little bit. You guys remember Roger Smith? Anybody know Roger? Great turner. For having a stroke and only being able to use one hand to turn, probably one of the best turners with one arm you've ever seen. So this is one of Roger's, and it's just a very clean, nice, simple form. You know, the bowl goes right around through that little stand there. So we'll send Roger's around. This I call, you know, this is kind of the classic the full Monty bowls. You know, it basically almost starts straight here and a nice hemispherical shape, great finish. The curve finishes inside the foot pretty much. So I think that's a very nice bowl with a great finish on it. And this would be Dallas DAW's librarian, Mark Montgomery. Beautiful bowl. Okay. These, I don't know who did these. It must be me. These are natural edge bowls. Same kind of thing. I want a nice curve, that profile. I want it to look smiley face to me. This one was able to keep the bark on it more or less. This bowl came from the Bicentennial Bur Oak in Plano that was at least 200 years old when they signed the Constitution, 88 or 87, 88. So this one sycamore, and it's spalted, and there actually is most of the bark around here. I mean, I think there's a little form break there, but for a spalted dead bark tree, it didn't come out too bad. Okay, so we're going to start blurring the lines a little bit between what's a platter and what's a bowl. You know, this kind of looks like a dinner plate for a cowboy to me, but it's got a nice OG on it. Beautiful color, box elder. This would be John Holderman, another DAW member, and does our open shop and program director. So the point here is that the bowl can be just about any form you want. You know, you can do it a lot of different ways. This would be Lou Boudreau, who's probably made as many or more bowls for empty bowls as anybody I know. You know, he's cranking out about 50 of these a year. So Lou's technique is always to use the screw, very safe, does the bottom first, you know, and, you know, who looks at the bottom anyway, but it's a nice full curve all the way through. Again, like the full Monty. Not quite a full Monty. This is my buddy in Colorado who I taught how to turn, and I taught how to be an arborist, and, you know, he's quite a student. You know, I love it when the student exceeds the teacher. But this is Chris's bowl from a number of years ago, and it's just, is not the full Monty, but it's a really nice shaped bowl. Here again, the curve is nice and continuous and goes right on through, curve right on around. So that's a little bit, that's a bowl, but, you know, okay. Another one of Bonnie McDonald's. So plate, platter, bowl, I don't know. It's blurring the lines, you know. Another one with a beautiful OG shape. And she likes to undercut these rims a bit, which gives it very distinct. And she's a master of the decor, right? Okay. Definitely platter, I would say. Not much bowl to that one. That would be, how many of y'all know Ken Rogers? If you've been to DAW, he's been your cameraman forever. And at SWAT, this was the first time he's missed SWAT since the beginning, since it was the Texas Turner too. So, you know, I mean, this is nice, but you wouldn't want to take your steak knife to that. So this is a platter you hang on the wall versus, you know, something that you eat out of. Okay, now I've got the two famous ones. Okay. Let's start with this one. This is a bowl with a little teeny foot on it. So it's kind of tippy, probably wouldn't be a very utilitarian thing, but you might like to have that in your library because it's signed by David Ellsworth. So this is an Ellsworth demo bowl. I watched him do that piece in about, what'd you say, 12 minutes? Anybody at that demo a few years ago? So it's a piece of hackberry. There you can see he wouldn't have to sand much. And this was green wood, so it did a little warping, which I think is fine. And the other fella that you might have heard of. Is very nice, kind of calabash shape, which we probably don't do enough of, with maybe a little retrograde up here and curving it around. Nice form all the way. And so this is from SWAT 09. This is from Stuart Batty. So if you've ever seen Stuart do a demo, that's a piece of demo wood that he did. So that's all I've got for show and tell for different bowl forms. And the idea there, you know, just keep your mind free, and depending on what your piece of wood gives you, try and pick a nice form that's going to fit in it. When you're done with them, Chris will put them back away. So so I like form, and I give. So if you look at the score sheet on there, you get points for form. And beauty's in the eye of beholder. If John doesn't like the ones that he likes, the real full Monty or the calabash bowl, he might give more points for that, because it's maybe a little more work to do that form than a Chris Pierce bowl that's a little more flattened, or a platter-like bowl like John did. So these are all from my collection, and someday I hope to leave them in my will to somebody. I don't know who that is yet. Probably. And then I didn't bring any because I don't have any of what I call the dog bowl. Now, I'm not going to run down dog bowls. I like dog bowls. Dog bowls are utilitarian. They really have a place for the dog. And you know what I'm talking about. You know, there's just very little curve. It goes down, and the bottom's huge relative to the top. Well, you know, if the dog's going to eat or drink water, you don't want him tipping the bowl over with a David Ellsworth bowl. He wouldn't get any water out of that. He'd knock that over and make a big mess. So you need, the dog bowl has definite purpose, you know. And so kind of, you know, think about before you start the bowl on your design part of it. You might be sketching it out on a piece of paper, or, you know, whiteboard or chalkboard, whatever you got around your shop, to kind of give you an idea of where you're going. You know, you might draw the dog bowl. You might want an Ellsworth bowl. So kind of get in your mind where you're going before you start. And that's really, you know, bowl turning. How many, anybody here that hadn't turned a bowl? That's what I thought. Bunch of pros. Okay, so if I come up here and I turn this on, I don't have this face shield on, and I've already done it about 6 times. And nobody's called me on it. But that should be penalty points off your score. If we're scoring these, because there's more important things than just, I'm going to turn this in 45 minutes. Hopefully I'm going to do 2 in 45 minutes. So, this regular old, where's your camera? You got that? You want it over here? You want it over here? How about up here? Here, there's the spot. There we go. Okay, so you know, that's just done on a bear grind. 1 point inch and 3/4 on the recess in there, and somewhere about in the middle on the angle. And I've been told I didn't good. Okay, so all right, no points lost there. And I kind of, you know, we're gonna maybe test that. Well, when's the Hawaiian gonna get nervous? All right, I'm just gonna do a little pull cut across the bottom. Okay, so we're obviously, we spun a little bit there, but it didn't throw it off.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of rough out where I want my tenon to be. Probably about somewhere in there. I'm sorry, somebody say something? All right, let's stop the lathe. I could see hitting that. Just me. I was gonna set this over here, but you guys would call me. You'd say, that's dangerous, Kevin, don't do that. So we'll set the thing over. I'm gonna move the tool rest over here so I can attack down the hill here a little bit. That tends to let you keep the bark on a little easier. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm doing a natural edge bowl, so I want the bark, the outside of the tree is going to be the rim. That's how you get the shape that you get with natural edge. I suppose you could do it the other way. I just do it this way. I want to find the bottom of the bowl first. So if I was doing it the opposite, I'd be working it for the natural edge first. So I just go that way. So when I do the regular bowl out of this one, this is the way you were talking about having it mounted this way. Okay, so when you do regular shape bowls, you have the pith up in the rim. When you do natural edge bowls, you have the pith down in the foot. Okay, in either case, the center part of that tree, that needs to go. If you want cracks, leave that in. Or if you've got a lot of branches coming out, wherever that center pith is, you're probably going to have a crack start there. Yes. No, I'm okay with it. I mean, is he absolutely correct? Absolutely. See, there's the master right there. It says I messed up. So, on your little score sheet, there goes a point. I'm gonna see if I get any points left when I get done with this thing. I like that. Distract and call the foul. It's kind of like the NFL, Honest, I wasn't holding that guy. Well, the referee was looking at the other guy that was beating the other guy in the head with the helmet, and he didn't see the holding. All right, I'll put this back on. You'll notice I spin the piece almost every time before I start it up just to make sure it's clear the tool rest. Probably a good habit. We're going to get this thing starting to be a little bit better in balance. And then I can crank up the speed a little bit better. So as a beginner, you're going to hear a lot of stuff about the bevel. And so what I'm really wanting to do here, you see how, let's put it up here, how that angle right there, it points that way. If I'm sliding that tool the same direction they're pointing, I'm sliding the bevel, it's going to cut. The only thing you need to cut wood is a bevel. That's a control surface that tells you where to cut your direction. So if I'm on it like this, I'm not on the bevel, I'm just scraping with that edge. If I've got the bevel against the wood and I'm pushing the same direction the bevel points, that's a bevel supported cut.
that'll cut nice and clean for me. So I probably got that in a little bit better balance now. I can probably come up on the speed just a hair. Oh, there it is. She smoothed right out. What was that? I think we better stop and check. Okay, well, I threw a big old hunk of bark off. Well, there goes some form points, unless I make it small enough to still catch it. So that tells me this woods may be a little bit older, or I thought it was pretty green stuff, but apparently it's not. And I don't see any evidence of wood borers working in here, so it's just dry. And maybe I was taking too big of a bite. Anybody catch that one? Started it with all full speed, didn't I? So how many of y'all have bad habits like this? I know you do, Chris. Well, kind of the point of this exercise is, if you're scoring the bowl a little bit and you're looking for these kind of things, maybe when you're turning, you'll keep that in mind and maybe be a little safer turner out of it. I know it's made me think twice about what I do all the time. When it spins like that, I just keep tightening it down. Okay, I'm going to stop about there and call that, maybe that's where my foot goes. I like to be close to my work, so I'm going to get a little tighter there. Uh-oh. Now, is that a full point or is that just like a half point? I swear I'm going to shove that four-way all the way through that thing before we're done. Okay, I'm pretty much there. I think I don't want to make it too small coming up in here, so I'm going to go ahead and lose the point on the form break there for the natural edge flying off back here. Bad choice of wood. Maybe one more little pass here to clean it up. That thing's in the way. Can I? Okay. Now at this point, I think my tenon's okay. Looks pretty square. You want this surface to journal up on the top of the jaws. Is that? Oh, it's Velcroed. Nice. Oh, that's much cleaner. I can see all kinds of stuff now. So if you look at this bowl, you can see I've got a little bit of tear out up in here where I'm coming into the end grain. So the grain on this bowl is running this way. And so when it spins around and my tool's there, I'm just cutting straight into the end grain. Same there, same there. So you can get little bits of tear out there. So one way I deal with tear out is handle way down low Really absolutely almost close where you're almost touching both edges at the same time. And then I can just drag that and shear scrape that. And that may take care of all that little tear out for me. I'm guessing, but you know what? Yeah, I'd say that's better. Since I'm not sanding, you want to do a good cut or shear scrape or whatever. So what about down there? Is that okay? Okay, is it going to fall and kick me in the shin there? Is it? All right. So we're going to reverse this, do our hogging out, do our bowl, and then we'll flip it again one more time to do the foot. So as opposed to using the worm screw and doing the whole bottom at once, you only have 2 steps there. So that's another thing. If you're doing this in a bowl masters challenge, you know, there's a lot to be said with making a smaller bowl in a traditional knockout bar. There it is. Oh. As much as inverters are, I think, wow, that's sticky. I'm gonna put it over on this side where there's a little more space. I have a bunch of different chucks, and I do have a stronghold, and I have talons, and I've got a Vic marker too, and yeah, I like them. They're all about the same to me. You know, I think I think the Vic mark is maybe the best with the dovetail jaws. I'm more likely to throw something off with this one, with the talon, with the stronghold or the talon, because they're straight. That's what I mean. Ouch. Ouch. Now wait a minute. That was just a slip. There was no, I wouldn't ding you for that. All right, well, maybe I'd ding you double. Yes, I would. Now I'd ding you if you go turn it on with it like that. Anybody ever done that? Turn on a lathe with the key sitting up here? What do you think happens? It gets right down to here and it falls out. Don't take it very long. Trust me, I made all the mistakes there are to make. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the tailstock. I don't need that for right now. You on your toes, John? Let's get over here where we can make some hay. Now, I don't know if you've got this on the camera very well or not, but you can see the outer edge of the bowl right here. There's my bevel, and basically I'm pointing my bevel parallel to that wall on the outside. And I can just kind of ease in there, open it up. So one of the criteria in there is wood thinness or thickness of the wall. Main thing being, it should be consistent. If you're making it a real thin wall, it needs to be a thin wall pretty much all the way down the bowl. If it's an inch thick and you're just doing roughing, then it needs to be 1 inch rough or 3/4 inch rough turned all the way, same thickness all the way. You'll have a lot less problems with warping and cracking and all those things that we hate. So I can kind of line up, as you can see, the edge of the outer edge there. And I just go in there. I'm almost totally closed. I'm gonna get a little back up for the bevel, and then I'm gonna open up the gouge and slide that rascal down that wall. Now, when I get down in here, I got to close it back up, because if I leave it open, that wing's going to catch all that wood there and it's going to go bonk. So now I've got that wall done. I can go ahead and get rid of this. I've left this mass here to support all this thin wall I've got out here. If I cut that away as I was going, I might be getting some pretty nasty vibration in here. Anybody remember Donald Derry? Anybody know Donald? Ever had a class with Donald Derry? Anybody? Yeah, I know you do. Don always says the only cut that's important is the last one. In other words, you can rip it up and have tear out everywhere when you're doing this part. Nobody cares. But I'm kind of rehearsing the final cut every time. I'm trying to get parallel to that wall and chase that curvature around every time. Somewhere about in here, because of the angle of this in my hand position over here, I'm starting to get pretty close to having my hand get hit by that wing. So this is about when I usually switch tools to a little flatter grind. I guess I'm a Jimmy Clue student. So the micro bevel, very flat grind here. That's relieved so that the heel doesn't drag in the wood. Can you see that okay? Okay, I've got this in a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. I just like this little rascal here. I've used it on big old bowls, so it doesn't matter to me. It's just, but now I can kind of keep my hands away from everything. Come in there, find the bevel. And take that straight on across. So this is where you get in trouble. If you cut too deep here, you could be making a funnel when you go to the other side to make the bottom. And it's still, I can still feel it goes, so I need to take a little bit more there. You didn't call it. It was a minor infraction because it wasn't there for long, right? So I'm just very easily, I mean, it isn't really rubbing, it's kind of sliding it. You know, there's no effort involved in letting that tool go across. Go ahead. No, it's not a 40-40. It's like a 85. You know, it's almost flat. You want, you know what? I'll pass it around. You guys can look at it. Um, a little bit of both. What would you say, John? Something like that? Yeah, I can get more aggressive with it, I guess. But I'm trying to do this with as little force as possible because I really don't want to have to be going in there and cleaning up torn up end grain, right? Yeah. This is yeah, I yeah, I've gotten the heel of my hand here. I mean, that's pretty close. And if that hits there, I mean, you're probably not going to the hospital or anything, but it's irritation. Um, and I can still feel right in here, there's a little high spot right in there. So I'm gonna go back and kind of dig that out. And I want to be careful not to go too deep in here because we are trying to make a bowl and not a funnel, right? Okay, I like that much better. I almost got rid of it. See now, a bowl like this, and I got this defect here with that. I cheat. I'll either peel all this bark off, or I'll take my little burner and mark that up and try and make and burn this and make it look a little bit more like bark and burn the rest of the bark too. I'll try and find some way to hide that because I put too much work into this already to do that. And I forgot so much. What I got to do, I usually use a little block of wood I put in here. Didn't bring one. Huh? So what Chris is suggesting is that when I turn this thing over to do the bottom, that I just put a paper towel here and push it against those jaws like that. I think that'll work. If I get lucky and don't spin it. That's where your control and touch comes in. A lot of people, when they do this kind of stuff with a little block in there, they put like a mouse pad or something soft in there. Honestly, I prefer just wood on wood. I think that's the most secure. When you put something in there that's got cushion and you get introduce that level of slop, that's just, do what works for you. But if you notice that your things are wobbling around a little bit in there, that's probably why. Okay. Thanks, Chris. All right. This right here. Yeah, paper towel's better than anything foamy, and because when I first was doing this, I would use, like a mouse pad. It had a big old fat mouse pad, and I liked the, and then I, started noticing when I was trying to push it in here that there's a lot of this going on. I finally decided, well, heck, it's just as well with hardly any paper in there or anything, just wood on against wood. If things are moving around a little bit, you can get some interesting sounds going because things start slipping in there and they'll squawk at you sometimes. All righty. I think we're ready to try this rascal. Turn that way down. Let me get my mask back on. I know you guys, you're watching like hawks now. Anybody keeping score how many points I've thrown away so far? All right. Special. Isn't that special? Are you gonna glue the bark back on? Well, it worked pretty good. She's turning pretty true. Yeah, you can hear it kind of. Something's going on there. But so we're gonna get rid of this. So now I have an opportunity here to revisit the very bottom of this thing. And so I'm going to make this foot down here a little smaller. Maybe about like that. Use my little shear scraping technique here. Little bead maybe. Oops. I forgot to tell you, there'll be 2 times in this demo when I have, when I get a catch. Only one of them is intended. All right. Time to get over and done with this thing. I like the foot to be, a little concave here, not radical. After all, I don't have too much wall thickness there to go to. And this is about when you go through most of the time. Somewhere right in there. Maybe a little more speed. This is a good time if you're going to put a little decorative or, a set off. Maybe you use something like a parting tool here. And I'm just going to put a little line right there. And then make my final cut here and make sure all that is below the level of that edge. Stick it in there again. That was the second catch. I'm not telling. You'll have to figure that one out for yourself, Chris. All right. So, boy, you guys are hard, but I've got you on your toes. You're thinking about it, right? Dude, you gonna call them on yourself tomorrow when you're turning? Okay. All right, there we go. Well, you get a point on size. We gotta somewhere around here. There's got to be a tape measure in here, right? No tape measures. I'd say that's 7.5 inches. Okay, so now we're gonna go and we're gonna make a regular old bowl. Take that off because I'm starting to get the vapors. All right. So this is probably one of the safer ways to turn bowls is with this screw chuck in this screw. You know what? I've lived a life of risk, and so I really don't use this very much. I'm probably going to start doing it more though, because it is, kind of a slick way to do a bowl. You may have to move. Go back in there. Don't stick me in the leg. John, when you teach bowls, do you always teach with the
Never? Between centers? Faceplate, screw it in there. Well, that is the old traditional way, isn't it? Okay, so the disadvantage to this is with when I was doing this one in between centers, I could move that around anywhere I wanted between the centers. This guy, it's set. I can't adjust this anyway. It's set. That's it. That's where the bowl's going to be. You know, I got no way to adjust, where I'm going to make a circle. All right, that needs to go off of there where you guys start yelling points and stuff. Let me put my face mask back on. Give this a little spin, turn that down to 0. Don't go too fast to begin with, and let's just get some wood out of the way and make it round. I could sneak up on these corners a little bit. Should have used this piece for the natural edge. What? I was turning the speed up. You guys aren't going to like it if you guys come up here and I get to call points on you. Missed it. You missed it. Okay, see what we got here. Hey, we can always leave the bark. You like that? Yeah, I do too. Plus, if I'm going to get 5 inches out of this bowl, that's probably got to stay. So now is the time to kind of contemplate how I'm going to do this receiving side here to accept that chuck. And I probably need to measure that because I'm not sure if I'm wide enough yet. Okay, so I'll cut me an indent that's
About there. Oh, yeah. It's down there. That's where it is. Delay's not running. Doesn't matter. Okay. Hard case. See, you guys, I just hope you're as hard on yourselves as you've been on me. If you're as hard on yourself as you all have been on me tonight, then nobody's ever going to make mistakes. Nobody's ever going to lose any teeth turning wood, and we're all going to be happy turners. So hopefully I got this right. I am using parting tool. Now I do something a little different with my parting tool. A lot of people, if you look at this, you can see it's curved this way and this way instead of concave there. I like a little more metal behind the edge. That's just me. And really I cut mainly with the corners with this tool, not so much with the blade. But you know, and I'm a little bit angled, just slightly. And when I'm parting off, I can kind of give that a little wiggle and get through there and square back up, you know, another time. Get another chance through things. Ahem. You guys are tough. Tough, tough, tough. I guess I shouldn't have taught you the rules before I started, huh? Uh-huh. See that? I did it right that time. I set that up before I turned it off. That way I wouldn't, you know, forget. So this is the same thing as my 1/2-inch gouge, except for it's a smaller tool. Same grind, same everything. So essentially the bottom of the bowl is done now. So I don't have to use the third time flipping it over. Guys making me jump. Jump for joy. All right. I'm through with that guy. On the screw chuck, how many threads down did I go? I don't know. Is there an engineering number? 1, 2, 3, 4, plus a little. Oh, I took a spacer out. So I actually had more. Huh? Oh, I had one. I can put 2. Well, if I go too deep, there's a hole down there. You know, I don't think you need all that. You know, you may on certain pieces, but I like, you know, everybody else puts a spacer in there, so I guess I did too. You know, like I said, I don't use the screw chuck that much like that. I'm kind of an in-between centers guy. Ain't gonna do it, are you? Back on the screw. Get worse.
All right, so we can just go back on there, right? Now, some guys I've seen that just, they turn on the lathe and they just come up here and take the bowl and thread it on there. But when it hits the bottom, you're getting one heck of a jerk into your forearms and stuff. I don't like that. I think that's patently unsafe. But, I've seen, hot shot bowl turners do it all the time. But, I spent a lot of years doing a very, very dangerous job with tree work. And complacency will get you. That's the worst. That's the word that, okay, I'm pretty good. So you get complacent about your safety, that's when you get hurt. So that's another thing about this whole exercise is it's not don't let me get complacent and take all these shortcuts that I've been doing for the last 30 years or so. I've been turning. Okay, I'm gonna have to cut a whole bunch of this away now. I gotta get big enough for that giant chuck. We don't have a smaller chuck, do we? Yeah. There's a talent in it, smaller jaws. You know what? It's quicker just to do it this way.
Huh? Oh, that doesn't have an edge on it. That can't kill me now. I'm gonna throw it on your toe just to test that theory. There you go, John. I knew he was gonna get me for that. Am I complacent? Am I doing this on purpose, or am I really that bad? Yeah, I did. Let's see. I need a big old foot on this thing, I guess. Part of the problem is, figuring out, where you're at. You guys, you're killing me. I'm not going to get a single point before it's all dead, said and done. Point. You using a cell phone when we're turning wood. It goes with. Get real upset with that on the golf course, Here, not so much. I really want to be deep enough with this recess in here where the jaw's actually up into the wall and not just laying into the foot. If you're up into the wall, the stresses are going up that way. If you're in the foot, it's going out this way, and you're liable to blow that out and lose the whole thing. So I want that maybe a little deeper, and maybe that will work this time. I can't tell. It's awfully close. All right. Hopefully it's big enough this time. You know, like I said, I don't not say never, but I rarely do this technique. I just for this demo to show you, you know, it's a good way to do a bowl. It's a quick way to do a bowl if you don't have to redo it 3 times. Maybe. Maybe. Success. So most of these chucks hold, and it's not because of, you know, the amount I'm doing. It's more the geometry of the chuck to the wood than it is anything else. And so you got to make, you know, be real precise in your cuts there. So I don't know if you can see it, but I got a little pith there. So I'm going to make that, I'm going to bring this down to, you know, right in there underneath that pith. So I may not end up with a 5-inch bowl, which is okay. I won't get any points. Hmm? Yeah, I did. Yeah, you just didn't see it. I did it. I did it. Well, I'm gonna wake you up. I'm gonna throw this off of here at you now. Better check our depth, huh? Anybody getting nervous besides me? Anybody got any more questions? How am I doing on time? We doing good? Okay, well, I'm a little fatter there. And that stops right in there. I'm gonna go just a little bit deeper and see if I can get that to smooth out down there in the bottom and switch back to my that grind, the blunt one. I should be able to go right through the center of that. Okay, I'm gonna call that one done. So, pardon me? So, I believe that's pear. Let's just check our wall thickness here. Can you see that? pretty much the same all the way up and down the side. Don't know about the bottom, but sides are pretty good. I could come back in here and maybe clean this up. Yeah, just make it pretty if we can. You see the tear out in there? That's what's bothering me. See if that's prettier. Oh yeah, much better. We'll go with that one. So that's really about all I got for you, other than, you know, you guys can pull out your little score sheets and see how bad it is. I'm happy to pass these around. You can look at them. Do I use what? Scrapers. Well, funny you should mention that. I think I brought a scraper here. So you'd like me to clean up the bottom of that with the scraper? Do you? No, I don't. Do you? Yeah. Well, I don't know if the camera can see in there or not. There's not a lot of light in there, but you know, there's some little rings in there and a little pip. And get my hard hat back on. So you guys don't get upset with me. Okay, so on scrapers, you beginners, important thing to know about a scraper is you don't ever want to be uphill with a scraper. You want your tool rest higher than center or right at it, or I'd say a little higher. And you want this at a down angle, right into the center. If you're reaching up here for it and it grabs, and it will, it's going to pull that handle way down, way down, way down, and it's not going to release it till there. You're going to get one heck of a jump. And if you do it right, you can control this thing with, you know, like 2 fingers. One of the things I splurged on at SWAT was one of those new face masks with the air conditioning and, you know, breathing, and it's real light and it all sits up here. That blew my whole budget on one little thing. Yeah, you know, about almost $600 all said and done, but so we'll see. I'm going right at the dead center right there. And yeah, I do angle the tool a little bit, you know, the direction I'm cutting. And I need light inside the bowl to tell what's going on there, but you know what? I think we're okay. And yeah, so this was just some big old hunk of steel somebody sold for $40, and I thought, man, that's a nice piece of steel for $40. Handle on it already and everything. And I don't know what it was in its former life, but it, you know, it kind of became a big old fat scraper for me. And so somebody's going to tell me the difference between a negative rake scraper where you angle both the top and the bottom versus just taking a regular scraper and holding it at an angle down. That's a negative rake as well. Oh yeah, you can go on straight, but you're still below center on the negative if I angle this down, right? You're right on center.
Yeah, because your point's below. Okay. So you grind away all this metal and lose support here when all I have to do is tip it up to get the angle on center too. Huh? Well, you know, somebody in this world's an engineer and can probably tell me why, you know, one of them's better than the other. But, you know, I just find that that's an extra lot of bunch of grinding a lot of metal away to get to that. Huh? You're the engineer, so you're the one that can tell me. You know, you're all washed up, Kevin. You right? Yeah. So this is negative A. Okay, so if I grind this top down and put that on dead center, now the center it's still negative, but I've lost a lot of support with the metal if I shoot away. It's the same. Okay. So in other words, either way, if you want to make you a negative rake scraper by grinding it two ways and pulling up a burr, or if you want to just take a big heavy piece of metal like that and grind it and make a burr. Yeah, hold it down. Yeah, the main thing there with any scraper though is never be reaching up for the wood like that. That's when you're going to bust your chops. If you're down, I mean, even if I get a big old snag cut, I mean, it's just going to pull a little ways before it's gone. And I probably, like I said, I can control that with that. You know, I don't need to be white knuckling it. But I think that's about all I got for you tonight. Unless you guys got more questions.